Hi guys, today I'm talking to you all about my makeup loves for the year 2017. I did a similar video but for my makeup dislikes for the year. So if you want to know what those were, then I will link the video up here so you can catch that. But for today, we're talking all things positive and things that I loved from every category. So let's get started. Let's go in the order of applying makeup, shall we? So my first favorite of the year has to be some primers or moisturizers, and I have two for you. If you've watched my videos, this comes as no surprise. This is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. This is such a good primer moisturizer. It's not only great for dry skin, and especially now when we're in the peak of winter, we need it. It has a beautiful luminous quality because it has some pearl extracts in it. The other primer that did just as good of a job but served a different purpose is the Makeup Forever HD primer, and this is the lavender tinted one. Lavender primers are great for brightening the skin no matter what your skin tone is. It's not a gimmick, it actually works, and it has a very smooth formula and just glides into the skin, also hydrates your skin beautifully. So these two have to be my favorite for the year. Moving on to foundations, I have 4 for you this year, and I know that's a bit much, but all of these I loved the minute I put them on and every other time that I put it on after. My first favorite foundation has to be the PAC HD Foundation. This is such a great foundation, easily available in the market. It has a ton of different shades and it's also pretty cost effective. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not expensive either, and it's well below the 800 mark. The second foundation has to be the Maybelline Fit Me. This I wore in the first half of the year, that is in the spring and summer, because this has just as good of a formula, quite waterproof in the sense that even if you touch your cheeks when it's slightly damp, it doesn't come off and transfer. My third foundation, this is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum, and this is the gel foundation. They also have a regular foundation, but I prefer the gel. Last but not least is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I have combination skin, parts of me get oily, and this is perfect for that. Great for summer, not so great during the winter because it has a slight mattifying quality. So I prefer using this with some oil if I'm going to use it in the drier months, but in summer this is definitely a go-to. I felt like I was in your face, so I just backed it a little. Moving on to concealers, I have 2 for you, and the first one is the L'Oreal True Match Concealer. If you know me by now, I don't like very thick and cakey formulas, whether it's in foundation, concealer, or any other lipstick. So I like how lightweight it is. You can wear this on even with no foundation, just underneath your eyes, and it'll still look really natural and conceal darkness. The other concealer is the Revlon Photoready Concealer. This is available in a stick form like this. I find that this is better for winter when your skin is a little dry and you need something a little balmy to put it on, just to hydrate the area a little bit. Setting powders, I have 2 for you, and the first is a compact from Lakme. No surprise here, this is the 9 to 5 compact, and I'm in the shade Melon. Love this because of its lightweight texture. I like that in spite of being lightweight, it still conceals a little bit. So if you want some added coverage in spite of your foundation and concealer, you can use this powder and still not worry about it looking too cakey or too much underneath the eyes. The other powder that I want to recommend to you is from Coty. This is the Airspun powder. It's a loose powder and comes in this gigantic package. Although you have to only buy it online, I think it's one worth checking out. It has a very lightweight formula again. So smooth, it blurs out any fine lines, any pores that you have, and it just makes the under eye area especially look so smooth, and also has a slight tint. So if you're worried about white powders that can leave a grey cast, then this is not something you have to worry about. My favorite bronzer slash contour has to be the Makeup Geek bronzer. I'm in the shade Burnished. This is such a beautiful color. It's warm, it's brown, but not muddy. It has some cool tones in it as well, which is why you can use it for contour as well as bronzing. I've used it on my face today, and it has such a beautiful formula, never looks patchy or cakey. It wears quite well throughout the day, and if you're wanting to try, do try the shade Burnished. They have one shade deeper than this if you are deeper, but amazing company. They have some fabulous products. I'm going to talk about some more of them right now, but this is definitely one to check out. Favorite blushes, again from Makeup Geek, and I loved the shades Valentine, which is a bright poppy pink, and the shade Infatuation, which is a little more muted, earthy toned blush. This is the perfect brightening shade. If you're feeling a little dull, a little lifeless that day, just pop this onto the apples of your cheek and it will instantly wake you up. And this, obviously, because it goes with everything, super versatile. Another blush closer to home that has a similar formula and some really good colors is the Revlon Blush. This is in the shade Why Not? It's number 4, and this is a mauvey pink, and this is such a good formula. Again, not patchy at all, and even if it fades evenly throughout the day. I have a couple of different highlighters to show you, but one that absolutely stood out, that totally blew my mind and that made me want to wear it all the time, has to be the NYX Strobe of Genius highlighter palette. This has 7 shades of highlighter, but my favorite has to be this peachy toned champagne color. This is the perfect color to wear on your cheeks and just make it look wet and just glisten. It's absolutely stunning. This formula is so good. It's so smooth, not chunky, not glittery. This is a palette that's going to last you a really long time, especially if you're gonna dabble in all the shades. Second highlighter, just as close to my heart, is a rediscovery, and this is the Physicians Formula Warm Nude palette. You can use this as shadow or highlighter, it's up to you. But this has some beautiful tones. It's got your lighter tones up here, some pinks, some bronzes, some deeper brown shades. This is just such a good overall palette. This will suit every single skin tone on the face of the earth. The next 2 highlighters were things I just recently tried. I tried this for a month or 2, but they've quickly gone up in my list of favorites. The first one is from Wet n Wild. This is in the shade Precious Petals. This is available on Nykaa.com now. That's where I purchased this. This is such a gorgeous shade. I mean, look at this. And that flower, oh my gosh. The formula is a little more dense. I feel like you have to really scrape your brush in to get the highlighter. But I feel like that's what makes it so natural looking. It never looks too powdery or too much. And the last highlighter is from Loreal, and this is in the shade Daylight. This is such a good formula. I think it's the smoothest out of all the highlighters I've showed you so far, even better than the Physicians Formula. It just feels so silky to the touch. And you don't have to wear this starkly the way I swatched it. If you blend it out onto your cheek, this just blends into the skin and just makes the entire area look very lightened and highlighted. Moving on to eyes now. Favorite eyeshadow palette? Well, technically they're single eyeshadows, but this is the Makeup Geek eyeshadow palette. I loved this formula and I used this more than anything throughout the year. They have such a huge variety of shades and it's ever growing. This compact I bought separately and then just put all the shadows in here. Favorite eyeliners? Colourbar's Just Smoky Kajal as well as the Shamber Extreme Eyes Longwear Kohl. I loved both of these eyeliners because of their quality to smudge well. I prefer my liners to be a little softer, a little more smudgy because I just like that look personally, and these gave me exactly that. Favorite liquid liners? Well, the liner that I was always reaching for has to be my Eyeko Black Magic plus Wide Lash. This has such a thin applicator. I mean, look at this. It's these brush tip applicators, so makes it very easy. This is what I used to draw my liner today, and it's so black and smooth and long lasting, and even if it fades, it's very gradual, but it's super long lasting, so you don't even have to worry about fading. Another liner that is much more easily available has to be the Shamber Eye Definer. It has a similar applicator. I mean, it's a little thicker than the Eyeko one, but again has this felt tip here, not the brush tip. I've had this for a while now. I'm sure it's been close to a year, and I guess you're not supposed to keep eyeliners for that long, but it's still so wet, it hasn't dried out. It's favorite mascara. Any guesses? Has to be the Maybelline Lash Sensational. I used this throughout the year. Beautiful brush. It's great for feathering out your lashes, especially in the outer edges if you like that very feline cat-eyed shape. It's water resistant, not waterproof, so when you want to get it out, it will come off easily, but if you don't want it to, it will still stay put. And the other mascara that I discovered in the later part of the year, but again loved, is the L'Oreal Mega Volume Miss Baby Roll Mascara. This is the one with the pink cap. Don't get the one with the lavender tip because I heard that it's not great. It has a rubberized brush and it has these swirly spiral designs on it, which helps coat your lashes very smoothly, no clumps at all. So these two, absolute must have, but if you can't find this, definitely go for this because it's absolutely stunning. Favorite brow products. Pencil has to be the Sephora retractable brow pencil. This is waterproof in the shade Charcoal. It's number 6. Love this because of how thin the pencil is. Retractable, so super easy, you don't have to bother with sharpening, but also because the tip is so thin, you can really draw hair-like strokes into your brows and make it look very natural while still making it look quite full, mind you, but it never looks too fake or stamp-like, you know, just one stark brow there. I also love the fact that it has this little comb. I would prefer a spoolie brush, but never mind, you can't have it all. My favorite brow mascara has to be the Maybelline Brow Precise. This is a fiber filler, so it's not just like a setting gel, it actually has these tinted fibers through them that you can run it through your brows and make it look a lot fuller than it is even without a brow pencil. So you can use this on its own, it'll still make your brows look amazing and just well set. So these two have to be my favorite combo of the year. Favorite eyeshadow primer. I know I'm jumping around here, but I forgot to mention this. But this is the Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow primer. Super affordable and it's such a good primer. The shade is a little light for my skin tone, but since I'm going to be putting on some shadow over it, it doesn't really matter. It's affordable but still does the same thing that all the high-end primers do, like the Urban Decay primer potion, which I have and I really don't like. This one is amazing at a fraction of the cost. Moving on to lip products now, and I'm surprised, but I have the most products in the lip category. I thought it would be the highlighters. Some of these are not really new, they weren't launched in 2017, but I tried it this year, so it's here in my list. The first lipstick, and it's the one I'm wearing right now, that I absolutely loved. I was so totally surprised because this was a new brand for me and I never expected to love it as much as I do. It is the Isadora Sculpting Lipstick, and this is in the shade Rosewood. It's number 56. I love the design of this lipstick. It has this really slanted dip here, so it makes applying the lipstick very easy, no need of lip liner, and it's also retractable. Never really have to bother with your tip going blunt or using lip liners all the time. The other lipstick that really stood out for me formula wise has to be the Sugar Matte as Hell lipstick, and especially this shade in Cherry Darling. It's number 10. Dark lipsticks, especially reds and maroons, are very tricky because they can be patchy or they can be very drying if they're matte. But this, in spite of being really matte, has such a unique formula. It never feels dry on the lips. I should know because I have the driest lips on earth. The formula is a little thick, so if you try to layer on, it can feel a little cakey on the lips. So I prefer to just roughly draw it on and then just take a brush and even out the edges. If you love matte lipsticks, this one, definite must try. Favorite liquid lipsticks, I have a couple, and these were all ones that I tried this year and absolutely fell in love with. And the first one that shocked me and that was just amazing and I wanted to try every single shade if it suited my skin tone is the NYX Lingerie liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade number 5. This is a cool toned brown. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but this is a beautiful formula. So even if you don't like this shade, do try the formula. It's non-drying, it's very soft and smooth on the lips, never exaggerates lines or cracks. The second one has to be the Kat Von D liquid lipstick. These I tried for the first time this year and I loved it, and especially the shade called Nosferatu, if that's how you pronounce it. Such a good deep red with a shift of gold in it. Beautiful. The third one has to be from Rani Cosmetics. I'm not a fan of the glitter that's in the liquid lipstick, but it's very hard to detect and the formula is stunning, and this is my favorite shade. This is in the shade Chai. My fourth and favorite liquid lipstick has to be the Ofra long lasting liquid lipsticks. Again, I know I'm late to the party. I know everybody has tried Ofra. This is in the shade Mocha. It's such a muted dusty pink and it looks so beautiful on natural no makeup days, and if you're going to work, college, it's such a good formula and shade. So if you haven't already tried it, like me, go check it out. It's amazing. Favorite glosses? Hands down, the NYX Butter Gloss. These come in such a huge variety of shades, but my favorite has to be the one in Madeline and the Creme Brulee. If you love glosses but don't like the feeling of it wearing out or making it look very patchy and stringy the minute you open your mouth, these are perfect because they have a really smooth, very lightweight formula. Favorite lip liners? the Shaanxo lip liner, Kiko creamy colored lip liner, as well as the Color Bar regular liners. These are the ones that are super long and have a sharpener at the end. Loved each one of these colors. My favorite has to be though the Shaanxo one. This is such a good color to just wear on its own. No lipstick, no gloss. The Kiko lip liner I loved because I was in this magenta phase where I wanted to try everything magenta, and this lip liner was the perfect shade that I also wore on its own, and it just still looked so beautiful. The blotted lip trend was huge in the year 2017, and the one that really gave me that look without having to buy it online is the Sephora Wonderful Cushion Lip Color, and this is in the shade Wonderful Red number 05. It has a sponge applicator in the front, and I would actually use this as lip color as well as blush. So I would put this on my lips, just smooth it out, take off all the excess, and just dab the same thing on my cheeks and blend it out. The other blotted lip that again I got in the end of the year but still became my favorite is the Colourpop Blotted Lip, and this is in the shade Bee's Knees. Looks like a lipstick, but it has a very lightweight formula that you could wear just on its own, a single layer, and it would just look like a little flush of color on your lips. But you could definitely layer it on and make it look like a lipstick, but still a very natural looking one, perfect for daytime and work. Last but not least, two brushes that really stood out to me in the year, and that was very unique, I feel like, and not many brands have this kind of brush. The first one has to be the Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 highlighter brush, and I know looking at this you think it looks like any regular highlighter brush. So the bristles are natural fiber and they are not as smooth as you would expect. They're actually quite jagged and slightly rough when you actually touch the tip. But I feel like this is what makes any highlighter look great, because like I said, some highlighters have a dry, thick formula that don't really come off really well on a soft brush. You need something a little dense, a little harder to work with so that you can really get it out and then put it on. And this brush was perfect for that. The other brush that really stood out as well is the MAC 128 brush. This is a dual-sided brush in the sense that it has natural fibers on one side and synthetic fibers on the other. So when you look at it this way, it's a very flat brush. So this was perfect for contouring and bronzing up my cheeks. My face is slightly small, so every contour brush that I have tried was a bit too large for my face. Also because it has a slight blunt edge to it, never looks harsh or drastic on the cheeks, because you definitely don't want to look super chiseled and photoshopped. You want it to just look seamless and soft, but still give a hollow and a definition underneath your cheeks. So this was perfect. And those were all of the products I used and loved in the year 2017. If you loved any of these, I would love to know. And if you had other favorites that you just kept going back to in the past year, do let me know. I would love to try those too if I can. Thank you so much for watching this video and all of my other videos. You've been so good to me and so encouraging in the year 2017. I hope we can continue this really beautiful relationship in 2018 as well and the coming years. A very happy new year to each and every one of you. I hope 2018 is forgiving, it's kind, and it's also filled with peace and love. I will catch you again in my next video, guys. Bye.